अस्सलाम वालेकुम लिसनर्स, आपको खुशामदीद कहते हैं। FM 101 का वीकली पेश किया जाने वाला शो आप, हम और बेहतर ज़िंदगी USAID के ताउन से सामीन ये प्रोग्राम आपकी खिदमत में पेश किया जाता है। और हर हफ्ते हमारी कोशिश ये होती है कि आप लोगों के लिए पाकिस्तान भर में USAID के जारी जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उनमें से किसी एक प्रोजेक्ट का हम इंतखाब करें और उससे मुतल्लिका जितनी भी तफसील है वो आप तक पहुँचाएँ। आज एक खुसूसी प्रोग्राम लेकर हम आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर हुए हैं। आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं USAID के मिशन डायरेक्टर मिस्टर जॉन ग्रोक। और आपको सामीन ये भी बताते चलें कि मिस्टर जॉन ग्रोक पाकिस्तान में अपनी जिम्मेदारियां निभाने के बाद बहुत जल्द अब किसी और जगह पर अपनी जिम्मेदारियां निभाएंगे। इसी हवाले से हमने USAID की टीम से रिक्वेस्ट की कि एक एक्सक्लूसिव इंटरव्यू हम जॉन के साथ करना चाहते हैं ताकि हमारे जो रेडियो लिसनर्स हैं उनको मालूम हो कि USAID के जो मिशन डायरेक्टर हैं वो किस तरह की शख्सियत के हामिल हैं और उन्होंने अपनी जिम्मेदारियां पाकिस्तान में किस तरह से निभाई हैं। मिस्टर ग्रोक, वी वेलकम यू इन दी रेडियो शो आप, हम और बेहतर ज़िंदगी।
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to be here today. As usual, I'm thrilled to be here, and I feel very much at home here, so thank you.
It's really a great honor for us. How long have you been here in Pakistan?
I've been in Pakistan now for almost 2 years, and I'm sorry to say that next month I will be departing for my next assignment.
All right. And let us talk about a bit past when you came to know about your serving here in Pakistan. What was your feeling at that time?
Well, I had mixed feelings. On the one hand, I was very excited because USAID's Pakistan program is one of the largest and most important in the world. But I was also a little bit apprehensive because I really didn't know a lot about Pakistan, and much of what I did know was from television, from the news, from reading the newspapers. But once I arrived here, my view of Pakistan changed significantly, and I recognized that this was a very different country than the one that I had envisioned when I first arrived.
Would you like to say a few more words about how your image changed about Pakistan?
Well, yes. As I said, before coming out here, my vision of Pakistan was very much defined by the security issues that we often see on television in the United States. And then culturally, I sort of had this impression, well, Pakistan is it must be a lot like India.
Okay.
And when I came here, what I learned is that Pakistan is a very complex place. And it's certainly defined by a lot more than what we hear about and see in the international media. It is a country with a very rich history, with a very rich and diverse population. I really have been struck by the differences between Punjab and Sindh and Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the tribal areas, Gilgit-Baltistan, the melange of languages, the richness of the culture, particularly I think the literary culture, but also the food, the music. It is a special and unique place. As I do tell people, one of the things that I will take away from Pakistan is an appreciation for the great hospitality of Pakistanis.
Right, you enjoyed the hospitality of Pakistanis.
Yes.
Here comes another question in my mind. What kind of misunderstanding exists for the foreigners apart from the security issues? Is there any other kind of misunderstandings which when you go back and you will say about the Pakistan?
Well, one of the things that has also struck me about Pakistan is that yes, there are a lot of poor people in Pakistan,
yes,
but there are also a lot of middle-class people, and there are many people here who are very well educated, very sophisticated, who speak proficient English. And that's another lesson that I've learned from being here, is that side of Pakistan is not always presented in the international media. It's a more sophisticated country than I had imagined when I first arrived here.
Right, and we came to know that you are an art lover as well. So you follow some of the work of the Pakistani artists here in Pakistan?
Well, yes, I've actually purchased some rather pricey artwork.
Okay.
under the advice of my wife. But I know that Pakistan also has a great literary tradition. Although I have not read his books, I enjoy reading the essays by Muhammad Hanif. I think they can be quite entertaining, and I like the way he talks about Pakistan in an amusing way, which I think can often be an effective way to tell a story. And I do have The Wandering Falcon on my desk by Junil Ahmad. And I keep promising myself I'm going to read that book when I take one of my long plane rides back to Washington.
Okay.
But the last trip I took, I forgot the book. I left it on my desk. But it's been highly recommended, and hopefully during my next long trip, I will be able to read it.
All right. Any plan to interact back with the team of USAID and the people you met here and give your suggestions and opinions whenever you find the time to read these books, or you go through the different arts of Pakistan when you will join back in Washington?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm planning on speaking to my successor about my perceptions of Pakistan. And when I return to Washington next month, I will be briefing my colleagues on my impressions of Pakistan, because we Americans have a lot to learn. We do have some people who know a lot about Pakistan, but I think that we have a lot to learn, and the more people understand about Pakistan before they come out here, the better it will be for them to adjust.
All right. As a mission director, you got a chance definitely to visit the different areas of Pakistan. What are your views about it?
Well, again, it gets back to what I said earlier. I've always been struck by the diversity, the differences in the regions, and the differences in the people, the differences in the geography. I really enjoyed Punjab, for example, because of its greenery. And I can see why it's the agricultural breadbasket of the country. But I also love Karachi, even though it's a big, noisy city. It reminds me of my hometown of New York. A lot of very sophisticated people, sophisticated business community, a very, very diverse population. There are people who come from all over Pakistan, even Pashtuns. There's a big Pashtun community down there. I think that, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in some ways is like a different country because of the different ethnicity and language. I love Islamabad. I know that it's a quiet capital city, but I like the calm veneer and the beautiful hills in the background. I'm sorry that I never made it to Gilgit-Baltistan, but from the photos that I've seen, it's also very beautiful. Certainly the geography is beautiful, and I think, again, a very interesting traditional culture up there. So I'm very fortunate because I think I've had an opportunity to travel more than many of my colleagues, and I'm very grateful for that.
All right. Listeners, आप सुन रहे हैं मिस्टर ग्रो का जो USAID के मिशन डायरेक्टर हैं, उनका ये एक्सक्लूसिव इंटरव्यू जो आपके लिए पेश किया जा रहा है। इनसे हम कुछ सवालात पूछ रहे हैं, इनकी ज़ात के हवाले से जान रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान में इन्होंने जो अपनी जिम्मेदारियां अब तक निभाई हैं उसके हवाले से जो इनके व्यूज़ हैं वो हम जानने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। वेल, मिस्टर जॉन, डू यू गेट अ चांस टू इंटरेक्ट विद द कॉमन पीपल ऑफ पाकिस्तान, एंड व्हाट आर योर व्यूज़ अबाउट द पीपल ऑफ पाकिस्तान?
Well, I do have an opportunity, and I had an opportunity just last week during World Book Day, where I took a trip to a local school here to watch the children learn how to read. And they were being assisted by some of the books that were provided by USAID. And I just love being with the children. They're so excited. They like a chance to speak English. They're very eager to engage and very curious, but I'm also moved by the teachers who are so dedicated and who are dedicating their lives to education and to the children. And education is so important and so important here in Pakistan. But again, everybody is just so hospitable and friendly, and I really like that. And that is something that I will take away from Pakistan.
That's great. You mentioned children, you mentioned teachers. Pakistan is one of the blessed countries who have approximately 60% of youth. What are your impressions about the youth of Pakistan?
Well, I've been quite impressed with the energy of Pakistani youth. They're very connected to the technology of the 21st century. In fact, information technology is one of the growth areas in business and entrepreneurship. And it's largely being driven by young people, educated young people who are sophisticated with computers and technology. And that's very exciting to see because that's really where the jobs of the future are. Today, Pakistan is still too reliant on agriculture. Too many of its young people are still involved with agriculture. There needs to be a transition to more types of employment that require an education. And again, that's why education is so important. But Pakistan is on the path. And I think what I've seen in so many of the young people, that's evidence of that.
Right. Well, as you have mentioned about the education so many times in your interview, so are you satisfied with the ongoing projects of USAID in Pakistan, specifically in the field of education and empowerment?
Absolutely. This is something that is very special to me, education. And, you know, to be honest, Pakistan has a lot of problems that it needs to overcome. Yes. There are too many children not in school, particularly girls. There are too many children who, when they're in school, they're not getting the quality of education that they need, so they're dropping out of school. So what we've been doing is working on bringing more children into the school system, particularly girls, and then when they get there, helping them to learn how to read. We have a Pakistan Reading Project that is helping over 1 million Pakistani children learn how to read. We have other projects that are specifically designed to bring girls into schools, and when they get there, to help them get the confidence that they need to feel empowered. We work on entrepreneurship, including entrepreneurship for women, because they need to play a larger role in the economy. And then in the higher education sector, we've provided scholarships to about 15,000 young Pakistanis to attend colleges and universities here in Pakistan.
Merit and need-based scholarship
Exactly.
program, yes.
So we're doing a lot, and a lot of progress is being made. By the way, we're also building and rehabilitating schools. We've built or rehabilitated about 1,000 schools around Pakistan. So we've accomplished a lot, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
USAID, they are working in the field of education here in Pakistan, energy, democracy, governance, health, economic growth, and agriculture. I would like to ask particularly which kind of a project you like the most in Pakistan, and what do you think how it will be beneficial for the Pakistan in the long run?
Well, we've invested a lot of money in energy. Yes. Energy is such a serious problem here, as everybody knows, and it touches so many people in their daily lives. Without electricity, children can't do their homework at night. People cannot grow their businesses or start new businesses. Right. Hospitals, their work is disrupted when they don't have energy. So we've invested a lot of money in energy at both the national and provincial levels to put more electricity on the national grid, to improve and upgrade the transmission lines that take the electricity and move it to the distribution companies. And then we've worked with the distribution companies to help get the electricity to the consumer. And with all the investments we've made, and this is everything from hydropower plants to regular electricity generating plants, helping distribution companies. We've helped Pakistan put enough extra electricity on the grid to provide reliable electricity to almost 30 million Pakistanis. So that's a significant accomplishment. Having said that, there's still a long way to go. You know, we know that there's still load shedding. There are still parts of the country that go hours and hours each day without power. But this is a really big step in the right direction. I'm also very proud of the work that we've done with Pakistani farmers. We've helped hundreds of thousands of farmers and their families to increase their incomes by helping them to modernize Pakistan's agriculture. And that's everything from introducing modern farming techniques to helping farmers get their produce to markets, including to export markets. Pakistani farmers are now exporting to places like Malaysia and Indonesia. And this is great because that's where they'll get the premium prices for their very high quality agricultural products.
Right. Well, Pakistan is the recipient of USAID. The money which is used, it's the taxpayer of the American people. How you justify and satisfied that their money are utilizing in a positive projects back in America?
Well, certainly one thing we do is we justify our program because of the importance of the relationship between the United States and Pakistan. You know, to our country, promoting Pakistan's prosperity and stability, it also is good for the United States. So it's good for us as well, and it's good for the American taxpayer. And you know, the other part of it is when you do see some of the needs that are here, when we're helping people in education, in health, in agriculture, I think it reflects the shared values that both Americans and Pakistanis have. You know, whatever differences we may have in other areas, we want mothers and children to be healthy. We want children to get an education. We want farmers to earn a good price for their products. So this is a very positive reflection of the shared values between our two countries.
Would you like to point out some of the gray areas of Pakistan where Pakistan have to pay attention for its progress?
Well, certainly one area that I think about and that I know Pakistan is concerned about is water. Pakistan is a country with abundant water resources, but it doesn't manage those water resources as well as it can. Now, what we do is, for example, in the energy sector, we have constructed or repaired hydroelectric power dams. But in addition to creating electricity, the dams also help to manage water resources. In other words, instead of losing water downstream, the water is diverted to farmland so that the farmers can use that to grow their crops. Pakistan needs to do a better job of managing its water resources. The good news is that the government here is aware of that issue and the need to work on it. But that's, you know, as I said, that's certainly one area. I think another area is in health, where unfortunately still too many Pakistani women and children, particularly infants and young children, are dying of preventable causes. And the health system needs to be continuously strengthened so that doesn't happen. The good news is the government here recognizes that that's a shortcoming, so we're working with the ministry here in Islamabad as well as the provincial ministries, particularly in Sindh, to upgrade the quality of health care that's being delivered.
Right. As John, you mentioned in the start of your interview that you came to know that you got an assignment here in Pakistan. The first thing came in your mind is about the security. So USAID did a lot of work in FATA particularly, especially the Gomalzam Dam, then the education, and still the reforms are going on. Your team is working closely with the government of Pakistan. Would you like to say a few words about FATA?
Yes, this is one of the featured parts of our development portfolio. We've invested a significant amount of resources because we recognize that the stability of the tribal areas will have an impact not only on Pakistan's security, but on the security of the region, but it will also have an impact on Pakistan's development. Because one of the reasons that some foreign investors will not invest in Pakistan is, again, there's a perception of insecurity. How do we know that our investment will be safe? Because we can see the trouble that's going on. So helping to stabilize the frontier regions, ensuring that young people have jobs, that services are delivered, health and education, so that people will have hope for the future and that they will increasingly feel that they're a part of Pakistan. I think this is in our collective interest. And I believe in the future that USAID will continue to invest significant resources in the tribal areas. It's so key to stability and economic development.
That's great. Do you get a chance to taste some of the Pakistani dishes?
Yes, I've told people that chicken biryani and palak paneer are my favorite dishes. I especially like the palak paneer.
And you tasted it first time here in Pakistan, or
I've had it before,
okay,
but it's very delicious. because here we're able to get very fresh vegetables, and I really like, for example, the fresh carrots, and the fresh beans and the fresh spinach.
That's great. And what about the spices of Pakistan? The spices used
I
in
like,
those
well, you know,
dishes?
believe it or not, I think that I like the spicy food a little bit more than my American colleagues,
Okay.
but not too spicy.
Okay.
But I think I'm kind of on the higher level. I think it really adds a lot to the flavor.
Are you going to miss those foods back in when you
Well,
were
I'm
in India?
definitely going to miss
Okay.
it because even though I won't be in the United States, they do have South Asian restaurants in the United States, but it's not quite the same as really being here.
Right. And what will you always remember about this country? Other
Well-
than hospitality.
Well, again, what I'll remember is the great diversity
Right.
and the complexity and all of the issues that I have now come to understand much better, but that I and others who live overseas don't always understand and appreciate.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. John, for giving us the time and have an informal kind of an interview with us and with the listeners of Radio Pakistan. We wish you best of luck for your future, and we are much thankful that you gave us the time, and we are much grateful back in US government for appointing such a humble, hardworking and sound professional in Pakistan. So any message for the radio listeners especially and overall for the people of Pakistan?
Yes, I'm very, very proud of what USAID has accomplished here, working with Pakistanis, because this is not just our program, it's yours too. And I'm very excited about the future. I think we're going to continue to be working together to confront Pakistan's development challenges. And I really believe that in the long term, we're going to be successful. I'm sorry I won't be here to see it, but I look forward in the future to being able to check up on Pakistan and to appreciate the progress that it's making in its development.
Thank you so much, John, for such a beautiful words for Pakistan. But we do wish and hope that you will definitely again visit Pakistan in a time when these dreams come true and Pakistan will be on the progress road, inshallah. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you again for having me.